Hey everyone, it's Rochelle here with a moment of family health. Man, we've sure had our fair share of struggles in our household. I passed out my daughter's vitamins with oatmeal instead of with her orange juice, and a large meltdown followed that mishap. Then, my husband and I have had more than our fair share of arguments during this pandemic season. And I don't know about you, but I've certainly wanted to return to joy just as quickly as I could following those conflicts. Today, I want to teach us about something that I think is really helpful, whether it's in conflict between two people, as in spouse to spouse, or parent to child, or child to child. It's what Dr. Marcus Warner calls VCR. Yep, that old recording device. VCR, and it stands for Validate, Comfort, and Repattern. So let's learn about these pieces today. Validate is an attempt to understand what another might be feeling. It's an attempt to state what you heard them say. And so this would look like, if two people are in conflict, this would look like a person responding to his or her spouse by saying, that seems like a lot to manage. You are doing more with less right now, and that would feel really overwhelming. Validation helps keep your relational right side of your brain open and connected so that that circuit is continuing to fire. When we validate, we're saying, I am attempting to hear what you have to say. It's important that we validate ourselves as well, and we can do that by naming what we feel. We can do that by saying and kind of showing awareness of, where do I feel that in my body? Do I have sweaty palms? Is my heart racing? Is my stomach in knots? And then it's important to help remind ourselves that this feeling won't last forever. It will go away. It will pass like a wave. And then it's also important that we don't try to push it away or deny the feeling, but that we just acknowledge that emotion. And then that we don't try to control that emotion, but we let that emotion be what it is. Let it be anger. Let it be feeling overwhelmed or stressed. Friends, when we validate, and particularly in marriages, when we validate another person, we don't even have to agree with what it is that that person is feeling. But it is so key that we respond by stating what we hear that person saying. It acknowledges, I hear you, and I am not leaving you alone or to feel this by yourself. When we validate, by simply saying I understand, that's like a false validation. It doesn't hold it. We need to really name the feeling that we are hearing our spouse say or our child say through their words and their actions. If we get that validation right, the person, our family member, will feel understood or heard. If we get it wrong, then it gives us an opportunity to talk it over with our family member and then attempt to validate again. The next step in this VCR is comfort. Comfort is the idea of problem solving or giving perspective to what it is that this person is going through. It is an attempt to move the intensity of the emotion to a lesser intense spot. So for example, if your spouse or family member rated feeling overwhelmed an 8, problem solving would hopefully help bring that down to a 4. So that may look like, that is a lot. Would it be helpful to give you 2 hours tomorrow, just so you could have some alone time, you could take a nap or read a book? That's an attempt to comfort. And finally, the last step is repatterning. When we get this order right, which is crucial, when we validate and then comfort, our brain will learn this is the natural and new normal way to respond. It allows that relational side of our brain to stay working and stay engaged without going to fixing. If I would seek to fix first, then it could leave the person feeling invalidated, like they haven't been understood, like they haven't been heard, like they aren't in a team with another. So that order is just crucial to validate and then comfort, and that creates that repatterning where my brain learns this is the new way of responding. Friends, here's an example. Let's say my daughter fell and hurt her knee and it started to bleed. She, of course, like typical 3-year-olds, is crying hysterically. This scares her, it alarms her. If I did comforting first, I would say, oh, you'll be okay. It'll just shake it off. You'll be okay. But if I validated first, I could say, wow, that looks like that's really painful. I bet that hurts. And then I move to comforting. Let's find a Paw Patrol Band-Aid and let's take care of that right now. She'll be able to return to joy a lot quicker. She'll trust that I've heard her pain and I'm ready to comfort. In marriage, that can look like what I had shared earlier, a spouse sharing with another the workload, the stressors of the day, and the spouse validating and saying, that sounds like a lot. That would be really overwhelming for people to manage in a day. And then moving to comfort. Would it be helpful if you had some time tomorrow, maybe 1 or 2 hours to yourself? You could schedule a Zoom call with a friend, you could take a nap, you could read a book, but I've got the household during that time. And again, that spouse learns, oh, I'm not alone in this. So friends, will you join me in attempting to implement VCR in our homes? Validate, comfort, and repattern. Take care.